This is a true horrifying story of the most haunted house in Libya, Hosh al-Sittin. Hosh means house and Sittin means 60. This house is known amongst the majority of Libyan people. It's been abandoned for many years and it's the only house in that whole deserted area, and it is infested with jinns. There are hundreds of stories about this abandoned house, and everyone that's been there experienced horrible things. There are stories about people that have spent nights inside this house and they died a few days later. Whatever entity lives inside that house does not want you in there, period. In haunted places, jinns don't usually intimidate their guests right away. But in this place, people have reported children and baby cries minutes after walking inside. Many years ago, there was a group of soldiers that temporarily camped behind the house for a few days. There was a military procedure going on in that area. They didn't look at the house, nor did they bother going anywhere near it. On the first day, late at night, the men started hearing screams of a little boy shouting for help inside that house. They were all terrified from the noises. They knew that there was no boy inside that house. That was a jinn. All of them came close and they flashed their torches at the house from a distance. But there was no sign of anyone inside. One of the soldiers ridiculed the situation and he goes inside. "See, there's nothing that can harm us," he said. Later on that night, the noises eventually stopped. A few weeks later, that same man was driving down the road of that house. It was dark and it was raining heavily outside. He sees a cat in the middle of the street and he swerves. The car immediately loses control and one of the axles breaks. The car wouldn't start. He didn't know where he was exactly. So he hops out the car and there it is. The house, Hosh al-Sittin, was right in front of him. He knew the close call of a fatal car crash could have been intentional. No one knows. Do they want him back inside? Or did they want to kill him because of what he did? This is a true horrifying story of a real devil's game. We've all heard about games such as the Ouija board, the corners game, the elevator game, and much more. From a religious perspective, these are not games. They are rituals or sihr that summon jinns. There's a game, or more like a ritual, called Charlie Charlie. It may be as dangerous or even more dangerous than the Ouija board. Charlie Charlie involves a board or a paper and two pencils. Two no's, two yeses, and two pencils balanced on top of each other intersecting. Back in 2015, the Charlie Charlie game was a trend on Vine. Users would play this game and post their reactions. Now, most of them were setups, they were fake. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the game doesn't work, because some of the vines were real. The game requires a spoken ritual and of course a welcome call to summon a jinn. I don't want to show you the details on how to start playing the game, but I will show you a clip of how this ritual looks like when a jinn is playing with you. Warning, I'm about to show you real footage of someone playing this game.
Charlie Charlie, are you here? Oh yeah, right. Charlie Charlie, are you going to leave? Charlie, Charlie, can you leave? Charlie, Charlie, can I go? Charlie, Charlie, are you going to hurt me?
Just like the Ouija board, there's no life inside that block of wood. There's no life inside this piece of paper. These games are just tools for the paranormal beings to speak with you. Things may go very wrong if these beings felt intimidated. Many of you don't understand how powerful jinns can be. Now of course, setting this up and just chanting Charlie, Charlie will not make this game work. But regardless, even if you were taught how to play, stay away from such games. You do not want to tie yourself around a being you cannot see. This is a true horrifying story of the game Red Door, Yellow Door. This game is pretty simple. You lay down and your partner chants red door, yellow door, any other color door until you enter a trance state. You will see 2 doors. You pick one door. Behind every door there is a room, and in every room there are 2 doors. And the cycle keeps going. All of these paranormal games have origins or a history of how these games started. However, researchers were unable to find any origins of the game Red Door, Yellow Door. This game has several names, such as Black Door, White Door, but one of the names is called The Doors of Your Mind. The difference between both is The Doors of Your Mind is not a game. It is more of a spiritual ritual where you lay down in a dark room, light up candles, and you know what may happen next. Red Door, Yellow Door is just a children's variant of The Doors of Your Mind. However, they both kind of work the same with minor differences. But what are the dangers behind this game? This game plays with hypnosis, which is incredibly dangerous. It is very possible for a player to go into an actual trance state, at which point he or she is under hypnosis, being guided by someone who knows nothing about hypnosis. That's the psychological side of the game. But religiously, if things went wrong during the game, you may cause severe spiritual damage. Oh, fun fact, jinns can easily enter a person's thoughts. Jinns can manipulate your exploration during your trance state. That is why one of the main warnings behind this game is, if you see people behind these doors, avoid talking to them, because that may not be your imagination. And to prove this fact, one of the most common ways jinns get into someone's head is during hypnagogia. Hypnagogia is the transitional state of consciousness between wakefulness and sleep. And in this game, you may feel very uncomfortable during your hypnagogic state. Warning, I'm about to show you a video of a person who went through this state by playing this game, and it did not end very well. This is a true horrifying story of the witch in Jeddah. This story was submitted by Iffat, a Saudi Arabian girl that narrated her aunt's story. The aunt's name is Noura. Noura was in her 20s when she recently got married back in 2003. She had a newborn baby at the time, so she needed help in the house. She hired a nanny from Indonesia that was previously fired from another house in Riyadh. This all started from day one. This Indonesian nanny would help Noura around the house with carrying furniture. She was very petite, but she had the power to lift heavy objects like it was paper. She would also cook food on such a fast pace, it was just not ordinary. And she would spend 4 to 5 hours daily in the guest toilet downstairs. Noura had no idea what was going on. One night, Noura was awakened by loud noises coming from one of the bedrooms late at night. She walked towards the room and had a peek, and she saw something that was terrifying. It was the nanny in the dark, wearing a white mask on her face, chanting gibberish. She saw Noura and she immediately jumped in her bed. The next day, they sent her out to buy some groceries. And while she was out, Noura goes inside her bedroom and inspects her belongings, as she was very suspicious. She found bags of strange leaves. She found reptile skin, fingernails, bags of hair strands, pictures of the Saudi Arabian family she worked for, with holes punched through the faces, and a voodoo doll. Noura and her husband contacted the authorities, and they had to act like they didn't see anything. They wanted her paperwork to be prepared for her to leave the country, because if she found out that they know, she will harm them. They eventually tricked her and had her put on a plane with her ritual belongings left in the house. Days later, Noura finds out that this woman also attempted to harm them. She slowly started finding pieces of black magic rituals buried inside and around the house. In the following weeks, they had a sheikh come over and cleanse the house. But what do you think would have happened if she wasn't caught? This is a true horrifying story of a viewer that saw one of my videos and did not take my warning seriously. A TikToker by the name Ali watched the TikTok series that warns viewers about one of the world's most dangerous books, Shams al-Ma'arif. Ali was able to get his hands on an original copy of this book. He disregarded the warnings and he read a small section of the book. This is a quick recap on what this book really is. I posted a few videos explaining the dangers behind this book. One of the parts is part 25. This book was written in Arabic around 800 years ago by an author named Ahmed al-Buni. The book carries black magic rituals that are so dangerous, most of them are not even being performed today. This book was lost and forgotten for all those years, and I spoke about it for the first time in many years. The 3 videos totaled to 13 million views, and some of the viewers ignored the warning. They took the risk and they read the book. Ali is one of them. These are the symptoms Ali faced after reading the book. He read a very small section and he had the Quran playing in his home, and then he heard sudden knocking sounds. He felt something touching his legs, and he claimed that listening to the Quran was not helping his situation. Hours later, he was not able to get up and pray, but he eventually fought the pain. Now, he released 19 videos warning viewers not to read it, and he coded, "You will regret reading this book." He also posted a video of himself dancing and shaking his feet, but he swears to God that this was not him dancing. On day 2, Ali was shivering all day and he was still unable to fight his inner demons. In a lot of his videos, I was tagged by my followers asking me to help the brother out. But you see, this is why I told you to stay away, and you decided not to listen. I explained the consequences and how some things cannot be undone. Only the people who associate with jinns are safe to read this book. You and I, we're not invited. Countless of people have suffered from demonic possession for many years after committing such mistakes. If you're really interested in magic, go read some Harry Potter books, bro. But stay away from this one, because this book can kill you. This is a true horrifying story of what Jahannam really is. Jahannam is hellfire. It is a place of eternal punishment. It is believed amongst all religions. In some religions, like Christianity, hell is a spiritual dimension, so it's only the souls that are tortured in hell. But that's not really the case. Hellfire is a physical place. It does exist. It is a world just like any other world. It has valleys, mountains, and canyons. But it's not only a world. This thing breathes, it roars, it speaks. Hellfire is a beast. Hellfire eats sinners for a living. The more you feed it, the hungrier it gets. It is so big, it is chained by 70,000 chains, and on each chain there are 70,000 angels pulling it. I'm talking about 4.9 billion angels. Do you know how big an angel can be based on Islamic narrations? An angel can tip over a country with the tip of one of its wings. Imagine the size of an angel. Now imagine 4.9 billion of them just struggling to hold down hellfire. Hell has 7 gates, and the guardian angel of hellfire is Malik. Malik is the only angel that never smiled. Let me tell you how terrifying this place is. In hellfire, there are clouds of acid. People that enter are given clothing made from fire. The temperature in there are millions of kelvins. Nothing compared to the sun. People in hellfire are privileged in size. God makes them so big. One of their tooth will be the size of Mountain Uhud. Why are they so big, you ask? So they burn slower. You will hear disturbing sounds of screams from people in there. They will beg for food and water, and they will be told to go down to the bottom of hell to find the tree of Zaqum. Zaqum is a fruit made in hellfire. It is so hot, one narration says, if this fruit accidentally dropped on earth, it will burn down the whole globe. They will be given boiling water to drink. The water will be so hot, their faces would melt before they drink it. And if you decide not to drink nor eat, they will force feed you till you have a full stomach. Hellfire is also a place of ambush. There are other creatures in there that will attack you. I'll leave the rest for Mu'min Abu Mecca to explain. I'm not sure how other religions describe it, but in Islam, this is hellfire. And no one can sacrifice themselves for your sins. This is a true horrifying story of a haunted house in Jumeirah 1. This story was submitted by a family, a mom, a dad, and 3 daughters. The story happened in 2016. Jumeirah 1 is an old area in Dubai. Many houses there are old, though they are very expensive, since they're just a 5-minute walk from the beach. This family moved in a new house with a 1-year lease contract. After organizing furniture, they moved in and the 3 daughters picked the rooms they wanted. On the 3rd night, the youngest daughter, aged 10, came to her sisters crying, saying she doesn't want to sleep in her room anymore. When they asked her why, she didn't want to speak. She then slept with them in another room that night. On the 4th night, she comes back at 1 a.m. crying again, but this time she seemed petrified. She was shivering, begging not to sleep in her bedroom. One of the sisters gets up and walks towards her room. She bends over to get a peek, while the 2 other sisters were staring at her from behind. This sister got paralyzed from waist up. She wanted to scream for help, but she was not able to move a muscle. And her sisters behind her didn't know that she was struggling. She was frozen in her spot. She fell down a few seconds later and she runs to wake up her parents. She was shouting intensely, explaining what just happened. The father gets up and gently goes inside that bedroom as if someone in there was calling him. He goes in and shockingly closes the door behind him. It was a terrifying moment of silence as the whole family waited for the father outside that door. A minute felt like an hour. He comes out with an agitated face and says, "All of you should leave this house now." The mother knew exactly what her husband was going through. She acted normal. She took her daughters and left the house. Never try fixing a situation like this if you're angry. This is the latest update. The father is fine. The daughters are okay. The whole family is safe and happy in a new home. But just to show you how haunted this house is, in 2018, the landlord decided to demolish and rebuild this house. They were 2 weeks behind schedule because 13 deconstructing equipment were damaged during the process. This is a true horrifying story of the moment you will see the angel of death. This is a moment that every human being that ever lived will see. This angel has been mentioned in all the sacred texts, including Sikhism. In Judaism, the name of this angel is Israel. However, in Islam, this angel's name has not been defined, even though many Muslims believe that it is Israel, though it is not the real name. Every religion describes this angel with minor differences, but generally, he is known to do one thing only. Angels are beautiful beings. There are billions of them, or maybe even trillions around us. They are huge and they are powerful, and they are made from light. However, there are 4 angels that you do not want to meet. Malik, the guardian of hellfire. Munkar and Nakir, the angels that test the faith of the dead in their tombs. And lastly, the angel of death. There is a narration that I'm not 100% sure about, but it says, the angel of death passes by and looks at every human being 5 times a day, waiting for their time to come. And you know these random shivers that you get? It is said to be that this was a moment that the angel of death has looked at you. I am not sure myself, but we can have Mu'min Abu Mecca to confirm if this is true or not. But what I can definitely confirm is this. This is what will happen the moment you see the angel of death. You will go through a sudden moment where time will be frozen. All your surroundings will no longer be your reality. Your brain will start releasing a chemical called DMT. Your eyes will start to unveil the real world. You will see the darkest being ever created approaching you. You will feel unexplainable pain, and you will start to see your soul leave your body. This is a moment billions of people have been through, and you will too. No human being is immortal. One day in your lifetime, you will meet this angel. This is a true horrifying story of what causes jinns to possess humans. For those who don't know what jinns are, they are the paranormal. They are demons. Some refer to them as evil spirits. Other religions refer these incidents as demonic possessions. Regardless of what religion you follow, a demonic possession is a thing that is mentioned in your books. This episode is not specifically a story, but I will explain the details on how possessions happen. Now remember, there are 3 causes and 4 conditions behind the jinn possession. These are the 3 causes. 1. Oppression, the rarest cause. A jinn will possess you for the simplest reason. He just doesn't like you. Number 2. Love, the ashiq jinn. A jinn can fall in love with a human and start possessing that person. There are reasons behind this. Maybe you spend a lot of time in your house undressed, thinking no one can see you. The jinn is actually staring at you, and some will even be attracted to you. Number 3. Unintentional harm. When you accidentally harm a jinn, an example, you poured boiling water somewhere outside, and it accidentally harmed the jinn. They will seek vengeance. Now these are the 3 causes. What about the conditions? Can jinns possess you at any time, anywhere? No. There are 4 conditions you must meet before a jinn can possess you. Condition 1. Extreme anger. When you're in a state of extreme anger, you are widening the gate for a demonic possession. Condition 2. Excessive fear. Same thing. When you're in a state of extreme fear of your surroundings. Condition 3. A state of excessive heedlessness, not physically, spiritually. And condition 4, pleasure. It is the state of when you are alone, enjoying your desires. You know, when you do what you do while watching inappropriate content. These are the 4 conditions that you need to be in for a jinn to possess you. But these conditions aren't always the case for a demonic possession. They are the states for the jinns to possess you. And they only open a wider gate for demons to use you. Demonic possessions are real, and they are lethal, and they are not easy to treat. Jinns are predators that we cannot see.